Hi, today is Monday, 25th of January, and I'll do a brief of Estonian newspaper, Postimees. So let's go on with it. Let's get started. So on the first page, the main news was that the new government is formed. So there will be a lot of women in that government. So that's on the first page. A small title, and on the second page is who is getting into the government. For me it's very important that it has never been before in Estonia that the president and prime minister, and there are several ministers who are women. So for me that is the most important thing. So here are all the ministers, and I'll read. So the prime minister is Kaja Kallas from the Party of Reforms. Then the Minister of Economy is Keit Pentus-Rosimannus, also the Party of Reforms. Then the Foreign Affairs Minister is also a woman, Eva-Maria Liimets. She is from the Center Party. And there is three more ministers which are women. The Minister of Justice, Maris Lauri from the Party of Reforms, and the Minister of Education and Research, also a woman, very good, Liina Kersna, also from the Party of Reforms. And the Minister of Culture is Anneli Ott. So I'm not going to read the men who are ministers, because not that important to me. If anyone is interested, I'll post the link below that news. So on the second page down below there is a short commentary about the situation in Russia, the protests. So and there is an opinion of one person who follows all the events which are in Russia. And for Estonia it is really important that Russia is a democratic country, not a dictatorship like at the moment, because this is a big risk for Estonia. And so here they are discussing what are the options and what's going to happen next. That obviously Navalny is supported also by a lot of people, maybe so a lot of Russian businessmen, ordinary people, and the protests were quite big. So what happens next? Maybe that's the beginning of the political campaign of the of the elections in Russia, which should be in November. So this is kind of also local news. So on page number 4 there is a big article on 2 pages. Take a look about coronavirus research which was made in Estonia, which is very interesting. That an Estonian company, they got hold of this coronavirus, and they were selling a lot of antibodies to other research centers for more than €1 million. And they also have produced a coronavirus vaccine, but they need more money to make those studies, if it works on people too. They have done the research on animals, but they don't have the money to to do the research on people. Also, there is a small article number. Yes, you see this one, very small, that there are less people in jail, 129 people less in jail than the same time the beginning of last year. So there are in jail at the moment 2,477 people. Just a reminder, the population of Estonia is 1.4 million people or less. So also there is a small article that the chief secretary of the Center party, which had corruption allegations and which are going on, has been changed. So that is a good news. So hopefully they will clean their act and there will be no more corruption allegations towards them. Just a note that Reformierakond had also allegations of corruptions years ago. So there are very few parties who did not have corruption charges or allegations at some point, especially the big ones. But the main thing is that hopefully the procedures are in place and those corruptions charges are brought on, and not all of them go through. So hopefully the parties will learn from that. There is also a very small but I think very important article on the same page, number 4, that in the UN Security Council, the Russian, which was made, this meeting was made over Zoom, the Russian representative had attacked Estonia. Note that the alleging that Estonians are restricting in some way the Russian language media and the population in the Russian speaking population in Estonia, which is obviously not true, but why I think it's important, because Russian dictatorship at the moment and KGB, they have on paper a plan to escalate hostilities, and the paper, one of the plans is to invade Ukraine, and the other is to attack one of the NATO allies. So thinking that if NATO does not follow through, and for example if Estonia, Lithuania, Latvia, some of the small countries is attacked and they are not protected by NATO, then NATO will dissolve. So this is a real risk, and this small news can kind of is a proof of that, because that's what their thinking is. So if they have an internal problems in Russia, which they at the moment have, with all those protests going on, then they might start a war of a neighboring country. So regarding Estonia, this is really a big risk. So there is also a small article about Estonian the sinking of Estonia, that this documentary allegedly Sweden does not think is objective. There was a documentary about the Estonia ship sinking, so maybe there will be new investigation of why it sank. So another article about legalizing or just making it official, the nude beach near Tallinn at Paljassaare. In Estonia there are like at the moment only 2 nude beaches, one in Pärnu and the other in some other city. So in Tallinn there are no nude beaches, and but there is a region Paljassaare where it's known like that people are during the summer are nude there, but as of the Estonian law is that you cannot be nude on public space, so some people there calling the police and they have to go and check it, but it's better to make it official so the police wouldn't deal with this kind of stupid thing. If people want to get nude during the summer, why not? So and real estate related article, I think that's quite important to see this scheme. So a discussion that there will be a tram line which will run from Laikmaa Street through Rävala and to Pärnu maantee, which I think is a good project. Maybe someday I will go through that and show you where it goes, but this article is that not enough local people are asked about is it a good idea or not, so they should involve the local communities more. And at the moment this Rävala street is kind of it ends nowhere. It is a 4-lane street which starts from Tartu maantee and finishes at Rävala and just stops there. It trickles down to few very small streets. So obviously this has been a plan for years, but when is it going to happen? Nobody knows yet. First they have to make the small tram line from Laikmaa to the port, which will go in front of Porto Franco. This new development. So this is on page number 8, a big article about a scale, about the fact that in Ecuador was seized 1.3 tons of cocaine, which was meant to reach Estonia. So they're putting it on in scale that how much it would have cost. 100 million, and 100 million euros is for example half a year budget of a second largest city, Tartu, and or you can make 100 million if you drive 10 or 20 years a rally car as Toivo Ott Tänak. So they putting in perspective, and this article is about the bigger drug seizures in Estonia and in other countries, so they're making it up to scale. And so we're reaching our 15-minute point. So I have decided not to make those news briefs longer than 15 minutes. And that's the brief for today. If you liked this video, subscribe,
press the like button so more people can view it, and then I'll continue making those videos again. Okay, so have a nice day. Bye.